Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening. Thanks for choosing Big Fox News. I'm Nick Smith. Corning Painted Post High School dedicated a brand new greenhouse in honor of a beloved figure in the community, Jody Cole Lee. In tonight's top story, Matt Kleindus kicks off our newscast with more on how Jody's memory lives on with the new facility.
Good evening, Nick. The greenhouse is already being used by Corning Painted Post students and celebrates Jody Coley's love for nature, family, and community. With the cut of a ribbon, Jody Coley's mother officially opened the greenhouse dedicated in her name.
Jody would be so humbled and incredibly touched to be remembered in such a special way today.
Jody Coley was heavily involved in the Corning Painted Post School District and community before her passing in 2020. For over a decade, she worked with district officials and community leaders to improve school facilities and even played a key role in creating the greenhouse.
Jody came out of the bullpen like Mariano Rivera did for the Yankees. Right at the end, she was in the room at the Corning Foundation presenting this project with us.
Going into any good fight, you need a good fighter, and Jody was that person to stand in front of the Corning Foundation board and help us tell our story.
The greenhouse is powered by solar panels on the roof, is positioned to maximize sunlight, and has 2 adjacent classrooms where students will learn to grow food sustainably. All things important to Jody.
So it is fitting that today we are dedicating this beautiful greenhouse in her memory. Her seeds will continue to enrich the lives of students and our community for many years to come.
CPP students are already using the greenhouse to grow dozens of vegetables. Matt Kleindens, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
Governor Cuomo announced a new Legacy Cities initiative. Over $25 million will be sent to communities throughout upstate New York to get rid of vacant and blighted structures. Those structures will be converted into newly renovated homes. The program aims to expand affordable housing options to low and middle income residents, specifically first-time homebuyers and families of color. The Nourish New York program will now be a permanent state-run program thanks to new legislation out of Albany. The pandemic-related program was designed to connect rural farmers with excess product to food banks throughout the state. In the last year, the food bank of the Southern Tier purchased more than $1.3 million worth of food to assist families in need.
On this vote, the yeas are 54, the nays are 35. 3/5 of the senators duly chosen and sworn not having voted in the affirmative. The motion is not agreed to.
A crucial Senate vote blocks an effort to create an independent commission to investigate the January 6th Capitol Hill attack. The Senate voted to end a filibuster in a 54-35 vote today. All Democrats present voted yes, but that was not enough to reach the 60 required to overcome the filibuster. Several Republicans support the independent commission. The Capitol Hill attack left 5 people dead and more than 140 police officers injured. We have the latest on the push to get people vaccinated against COVID-19, new information on immunity against it, and what that could mean for boosters. Britt Conway has everything you need to know.
Vaccine after vaccine after vaccine. 40% of all Americans are now fully vaccinated, but that means 60% aren't. Taking off masks was motivating. Remember this?
Anyone who is fully vaccinated can participate in indoor and outdoor activities, large or small, without wearing a mask or physical distancing.
That day, vaccine.org had its second busiest day. Now, getting folks to roll up their sleeves means rolling out incentive programs. Get vaccinated, get entered to win. California is putting $116.5 million into theirs. In West Virginia, there are prizes like Ford F-150s. Ohio has a vaccine lottery.
I still can't believe it.
Kroger and CVS are offering cash and prizes too. But immunity to COVID-19 is a prize within itself, something medical experts are still learning about. And there's a recent study published in the journal Nature that found people who'd gotten the virus had an antibody memory of COVID-19 that may last in the body for at least 11 months. But
having an antibody doesn't mean you are completely protected.
A big reason for that? Variants. And it's why we might need boosters.
If that vaccination immunity wanes over time, that we're ready for the booster if we need it.
Until then, the clarion call continues.
If you're vaccinated now, you are safe now.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
The man accused of killing 4-year-old Malia Davis 2 years ago is now headed to prison. 28-year-old Darian Vince pleaded guilty Thursday to tampering with a corpse and injury to a child. Malia's disappearance captivated the nation as the search for the girl grew desperate and questions remained unanswered about what happened to her. Marla Carter spoke to one of the men who searched for Malia to get his reaction to the suspect's guilty plea.
Malia Davis captured the heart of Houston. Her neighbors remember Malia's sweet wave to say hello.
But she was such a sweet little girl. I think about her all the time while I'm walking my dog.
Lena says she would see Malia with Darian Vince. He was watching Malia while her mother was out of town. It was during that time, in early May of 2019, when Malia was reported missing. Texas EquiSearch immediately went into action and started looking for the 4-year-old girl.
When she first disappeared and we was up off of Greens Road up by Intercontinental Airport, and then we was all over the place.
Vince told police he was attacked by unknown men, woke up, and Malia was gone. Meanwhile, the search continued.
We was out in front of detectives several times every single day.
Then surveillance video of Malia surfaced, showing the little girl outside her apartment with Vince on April 30th of 2019. Investigators believe that Vince was the last person to see Malia alive. Then there was a break in the case. A confession by Vince led authorities to Arkansas. Malia's remains were found on the side of the road. Tim Miller with EquiSearch traveled to the scene in a plane with detectives.
I remember after we put her in a container and everything and brought her back to Houston with her little container sitting there with us, and how quiet the flight was back, bringing her back to Houston.
Miller returned to Malia's apartment today. With a guilty plea and no trial, Miller has mixed feelings.
We'll never know why and we'll never know how. But maybe it's for the best. It may just be too painful.
While Malia may no longer be here in person, her spirit lives on in Miller, in her neighbors, and in all of the hearts she touched.
I just wish she was still around for me to see her little smiling face.
Let's hope today's the end and people can really start the healing process.
3 police officers in Tacoma, Washington have been arrested. They're facing criminal charges in the death of Manuel Ellis, who died after being restrained by police in March of last year. Cole Miller has more.
This is about Manuel Elijah Ellis.
A mother remembering her son and Thursday's decision in which the 3 Tacoma police officers who pinned him to the ground nearly 15 months ago,
Oh my God, that looks so scary.
have now been arrested themselves.
Put your hands behind your back.
Charged with his death that night back in March of last year. Investigators say Ellis had walked away from officers when they then approached him, took him down, handcuffed and hogtied him, tased him 3 times, and used a neck hold. It was ruled he died from a lack of oxygen. The intersection where it happened transformed into a memorial for Manny Ellis.
It's hard for me to be happy. It's hard for me to want to celebrate.
His sister among those speaking out, criticizing the initial investigation, pushing for the state's attorney general to take it over, saying that witness video played a pivotal role in giving it renewed attention.
It was us that demanded the governor to get Pierce County off of this investigation.
And James Bible, the family's attorney, slamming the Pierce County Sheriff's Department, saying it demonized Ellis and only did more damage in the wake of his murder. The Sheriff's Department telling KOMO News it had, quote, no comment to those accusations. Activists with Tacoma Action Collective promising to do more in the wake of these charges.
We need everyone to be brave. Be more brave. When you think you don't have anything left to give, give it.
Until there's true, full transformation, none of us are safe.
With states across the country loosening COVID restrictions, Americans are eager to travel this Memorial Day weekend. Experts are saying we may see an unprecedented number of travelers since the pandemic began. Daryl Forges has the latest from one of the world's busiest airports in Atlanta.
The hustle and bustle of holiday travel. Americans are gearing up for the unofficial start of summer, with more than half of adults fully vaccinated in the U.S. and the CDC easing guidance.
AAA forecasts 37 million people are going to travel by plane, by car, by bus.
AAA says that's a 60% increase in travelers compared to last year. Millions are expected to hit the road, One of the biggest issues for drivers, gas prices. The national average is a little over $3 a gallon, the highest since 2014.
Rather than going as far as they had originally planned, they may alter their trip to travel not quite as far. But regardless of how expensive gas prices are, that's not going to keep people from traveling and taking those road trips this summer.
While most will take to the roads, many are also taking to the skies.
Over this holiday weekend, we are expecting 65 to 70,000 passengers per day through our checkpoints.
Travelers will notice increased security at airports beginning this weekend. TSA is also adjusting staffing to accommodate more traffic through security checkpoints. Even though things seem to be getting back to normal, the pandemic isn't over yet, so it's important to plan ahead and stay safe.
If you're going to a hotel, are all the amenities open? You know, some pools are closed, not every dining room is open. If you're traveling to the airport, make sure parking lots are open.
Still ahead tonight. Researchers at the University of Minnesota say they've developed a new vaccine method that doesn't require the use of needles.
Cuts a lot of cost associated with refrigeration. It could mean tremendous benefit to people living in low resource areas, not only in this country but worldwide.
More on the new way they've found to deliver vaccines to the public.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Hi everyone, welcome back. This weather forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Well, I know you've got big plans for this weekend, and some of those plans are definitely going to have to include this widespread rainfall. I'm meteorologist Monica McNeil in for Kim Walker for you tonight, and as we start out with our future radar, you can see the rain. Well, we've had rain pretty much all afternoon. So these widespread showers will continue to move over our area. Embedded within all of the rain, there will be some individual storms that will produce some slightly heavier rainfall and at times some gusty winds. Again, we'll get a little bit of a break at about 2:30 in the morning. Then the rain continues to stream toward the north and east, and all of these showers are all associated with an area of low pressure that is moving out of the Ohio Valley. So that system is tracking up toward the north and the east. And as you can see, there is widespread rain throughout the northeast and portions of the mid-Atlantic and even across portions of the upper Great Lakes. So quite a bit of rainfall. Totaling how much rainfall we're going to get, we'll talk about that in a moment, but all of the rain and the clouds have affected our temperatures. With our temperatures way below normal for this time of the year, we only managed to see 50 degrees, and these very cool temperatures will be sticking with us. So here's what you can expect. Widespread steady rain will continue through tonight and even into the first part of tomorrow. Cool below normal temperatures will be in place, as well as the additional rainfall amounts we're looking at. You could see 1/4 of an inch up to 1 1/4 inches of rainfall with this system. Forecast for you tonight, we're looking at winds out of the north and east at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Definitely rain and definitely cool out there with a low of 42 in Elmira, over toward Wellsboro, 46, over toward Hornell, 42, and about 43 degrees there in Mansfield. Now, what can we expect for Memorial Day? We already know that the weekend is going to be wet. Here's a look at what you can expect for your day on Sunday. We're looking at showers with highs in the upper 50s. So showers will be lingering right on through the weekend, but by the time we get to the evening, those showers will taper off, and by Monday, look at this, turning sunny and warmer. Our temperatures are going way up, where they should be for this time of the year. We're up to 72 degrees for Memorial Day. So we wind up with an incredible day for Memorial Day with a high of 72. Tuesday looks good as well. We'll begin to see clouds returning and another storm system starting to form, bringing back the moisture and bringing back the chance for afternoon showers and some thunderstorms. All right, make sure you stay right there. We've got more news coming up.
How about doing away with needles? A group of biomedical engineers from the University of Minnesota say they've developed a new way to deliver vaccines to the body through a dissolvable wafer. Danny Spiewak reports.
It's such a convenient way to do it.
Dr. Chun Wang's lab finds two main challenges with vaccine delivery.
One is needles and syringes. Ow, right? It hurts.
And problem number two?
Most vaccines are not stable under room temperature.
So Wang and his biomedical engineering team at the U of M looked for a way to avoid needles in refrigerators altogether.
So there it is.
The researchers developed this protective wafer that dissolves under the tongue and delivers vaccines to the rest of the body.
After absorbing water, this thing turns soft.
The method has tested well on animals so far with HIV proteins.
Hopefully in the next few years we'll be able to do all the testing and eventually go to humans.
This research started before the pandemic, but Dr. Wang says the wafers will apply broadly to protein-based COVID-19 vaccines, and with some further tweaks, should work for mRNA vaccines like Pfizer and Moderna.
Cuts a lot of cost associated with refrigeration. It could mean tremendous benefit to people living in low resource areas, not only in this country, but worldwide.
Next, companies and government agencies will need to get on board to develop a product, which could be a long process.
Preclinical testing and then human trials in phase 1, 2, 3, and eventually, getting on the market.
But already Wang and his colleagues are proud of the breakthrough they've made in their field.
Bringing medicine and engineering together and creating life-saving technology. So I'm very happy to be at the spot.
With more states easing restrictions for the Memorial Day holiday, some people might be feeling overstimulated, or maybe just not ready to get back to normal. If you're dealing with re-entry anxiety, you're not alone. In today's Health Minute, what some doctors and experts say you can do.
Crowded spaces and eased restrictions this Memorial Day weekend, forcing us to adapt again to large social gatherings, maskless conversations, and a faster pace of life. Dr. Pacina says for some people, that may seem intimidating or even fearful.
Memorial Day weekend can get extremely stressful because of the traffic, the busy beaches.
After a year of isolation and strict measures to stop the spread of COVID-19, medical experts say some are experiencing re-entry anxiety and uneasiness about returning to the old normal of social interaction.
This phenomenon has been observed by psychologists before in people who have spent protracted periods of time in isolation. For example, people who have gone in the space.
Ground control to Major Tom.
It's something that former astronaut Chris Hadfield says he has experienced, readjusting from extreme isolation after spending nearly half a year in outer space.
There's been change, and we're going to have to move forward into that as we come out of the pandemic. And it's sort of similar to when I landed a spaceship. I didn't expect the world to be the same as when I left.
Some doctors agree, saying it may be helpful to start going out with a friend or family member and go at your own pace.
At the same time, it's also important to recognize that social interaction is very, very important and crucial for good mental and physical health.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Mary Maloney.
An Iowa man forced to change careers due to the pandemic is making the best of it, starting a business out of his basement where he can now deliver coffee with his 11-year-old pug, Sushi. Marcus McIntosh reports.
In November, Chris James started Buffalo Brew Coffee. In a matter of months, he was able to buy a new coffee roaster that increases his productivity from 1 pound an hour to 60 pounds an hour.
So you can hear the popping starting to happen.
Once an order is bagged up and ready to go, he hops onto his bike and rolls from delivery to delivery.
One less car on the road is a good thing.
James is packing more than coffee.
This is Sushi.
This is his trusty traveling companion, his nearly 11-year-old female pug, Sushi. She has difficulty moving her hind legs and is blind. This is the way James gets her out into the fresh air.
Getting outdoors, enjoying the sunshine, being with Sushi, waving to the neighbors. It's a great time.
James says his customers have taken a liking to the strapped-in, helmet and goggle-wearing bundle of joy.
They'll want photos and selfies with Sushi.
They want to pet her, and Sushi eats up all of it.
Customers like Todd Oak say Buffalo Brew Coffee checks a lot of his boxes.
We're coffee lovers, and the fact that it's local, we love to support local businesses as well. So kind of checked a couple boxes for us there. The fact that they have a dog now checks another box because we're dog lovers as well.
James says as the business continues to grow, he will eventually wave goodbye to making deliveries on his bike.
There are some climate concerns for this year's Tokyo Olympics. A new report says the average temperature in Tokyo has increased 3 times as fast as the world's average. And that could be extremely dangerous for the athletes competing at the Summer Games. Organizers have already moved some outdoor events away from Tokyo into much cooler cities. Instagram and Facebook users can now hide the public likes that their posts receive. This move could bring an end to the dynamic that often ties the likes to the influence that a person has on social media. Instagram has been testing the ability to hide likes since 2019 in an effort to make posting less stressful. This is also a way to fight back against criticisms about how social media platforms can cause tensions for its users and for society overall. If people decide to not share their like counts, viewers can still see a list of people who did like the post, just not the total number. Hiding likes on Facebook and Instagram is optional, so it will take time to see how many people will take the action. Amazing acts of heroism during an explosive car fire were caught on responding officers' body cameras. That was only one of 2 separate life-saving incidents. Jeremy Roth has today's Take a Look at This.
A pair of police officers in Texas are being heralded for saving 2 separate lives at 2 separate serious incidents in one day. Austin officers Eduardo Pineda and Chandler Carrera were responding to a truck on fire when they realized the driver was still inside. They broke into the vehicle, and with body cameras recording, the pair braved the intense heat and flames and pulled the driver from the truck just seconds before it exploded. The driver was taken to a hospital having suffered serious smoke inhalation. And just hours later, the 2 officers responded to a shooting scene and saved a victim's life by applying a tourniquet and pressure to their wounds. Pineda and Carrera were later honored by the department for their quick thinking and bravery, but were hesitant to call themselves heroes, saying everyone in the department does stuff like this. Their actions just happen to be caught on camera. Speaking of caught on camera, watch a cicada attempt to make a creepy crawly cameo by climbing around the neck of CNN's chief congressional correspondent Manu Raju just before a Capitol Hill live shot.
Oh my God.
Raju foiled the bug's attempt, reacting pretty much how any of us would.
Where are all these cicadas coming from? Do I have more on me?
Cicadas are out in full force for the first time in 17 years, and it seems this one wasn't ready to give up its 15 minutes of fame. For Take a Look at This.
Oh my goodness. Okay, where were we?
I'm Jeremy Roth.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. A Navy veteran in Indianapolis no longer has to get up at 3 every morning to catch a bus to work. A supporter of the Helping Veterans and Families nonprofit group donated a car so that Michael Parks can now drive to work. Parks is currently living in transitional housing and getting ready to find a place of his own. He works as a cook at a senior living facility.
They contacted me and said, congratulations, you got the car. I was like, matter of fact, it was my day off and she had just woke me up, so I thought it was a dream. And I woke up a couple hours later, it's like, did she just say I won a car? So I kind of texted her, not beating, and she was like, yeah.
Now that he has reliable transportation every day, Parks says he can take on more hours to gain his independence even faster. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great weekend and safe travels if you're leaving town.